to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur, where we shine the light on the blind side of entrepreneurship. It is your host, Errol J. Allen, with my fellow and lovely co-host,
Jessica Myers.
How you doing today?
Oh, I stay living the dream. How you feeling?
Blessed and highly favored. Thank you for asking.
Oh, yeah.
So today I got somebody real special in the studio, near and dear. He actually went to the same high school with me, real big in the insurance space, and is a public adjuster. My man, Mr. Alexis Smith. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, so I'm Alexis Smith. I'm actually a co-owner of Accurate Adjustments. We're a public adjusting firm based out of Georgia. We're only licensed in Georgia at the moment, but we have our hands full just trying to help out policyholders that we can in our state.
So what does that even mean? Public adjuster, like what does that mean?
That's a very common question. So we are insurance adjusters that actually represent homeowners instead of representing the insurance carriers. Mm-hmm. So typically, somebody has an incident happen to their home or property or business, and they call their insurance company. Some guy comes out, Jake from State Farm, someone along those lines. They come out and they tell you how much you're owed or if they're going to come.
And they give you the lowest.
Sometimes I can't say that. Well, it can be. Sometimes they give right. Sometimes they give too little.
Yeah.
But what we do is try to read the policy and ensure that the homeowner is getting everything that they're supposed to get from the insurance claim that's warranted or covered from, the loss that's occurred. And yeah.
So you out here representing the little guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Against the very, very big ones. And, they don't particularly like us so much, but, we are a necessary part of the process to basically shed the light on the policy and ensure that everything, like I said before, everything that they're owed, they are given. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
So you actually, because when we was talking off camera, you actually reminded me of how we in the real estate wholesale space, we do get frowned upon, but it's a necessary thing that we need in the process, right? So prior to this, how did you get your start into the adjustment space?
That's a very good question, and it took a lot of risk and leaps, but it started out, I would say, almost 8 years ago when I started getting into roofing. A friend of mine from our school as well, their parents started a roofing company. I was working for them for a while, kind of learned the tricks of the trade. And then I realized I didn't want to sell roofs anymore. And I went to go be trained as an adjuster. Went to Texas to train, learn for some big companies. And I decided I didn't want to be an adjuster at that point and became an insurance inspector. So I would climb roofs and inspect losses for the insurance company, but I wouldn't write the estimate and determine coverage decision. I decided after seeing the inadequacies in the inspection process and how they hire third parties to go out who basically are getting paid very little to just go out there, knock out the pictures that they need to get and get on to the next job because they want to feed their families. We can't hate on them for that, but they don't feel as vested in the process, nor are they going to, identify the things that could properly give the insured coverage. And that's the number one issue. And that seems to be like the insurance companies kind of like having the third parties kind of just give the liability on them and say, hey, we saw the information we received from the person we hired and we're going to make a coverage decision based on that. So we're here to kind of hold them accountable and just point out all the disputed damages and see if we can get them covered.
So, and you're not limited to just doing houses. You could do anything that involves the loss of any particular space, right?
Yes, not houses only. So we do residential and commercial. We've done, churches, homes, done body shops that have gone hit by trees. Those, end up being particularly larger losses. But you're right. We don't just do residential, but we tend to be in residential more often, just because of our network right now. But we don't shy away from commercial at all.
Okay. And you don't need like barrier of entry. If somebody want to get into space, say, I want to be a public adjuster today. What does that look like? Was there licenses, a course, a lot of minimum hours you got to take? What's going on there?
So bare minimum, just to literally be a living, breathing public adjuster, you have to take a 40-hour class and then take a course. Once you take an exam, once you pass the exam, you have to pass a background check, and you basically get a surety bond to protect yourself in case if you mess up or do whatever you mess up. So And once you get that, we send that to the insurance commissioner. They'll either approve or deny your license based on your record and all those prior things.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to, what's it called? They got assigned an adjuster to do something like that, a company assigned adjuster, because the way you portray it to me is you're having the bullies pretty much cut your checks and do all the damages and whatnot. Is there someone as a traditional victim, hey, I want to get you to come in instead of whoever they assign me?
Yes. So that's, typically that's how we get brought into the mix. A lot of homeowners aren't very educated on the insurance process, so they just file the claim, and then once they hear the decision, then they either are happy or upset. Or sometimes they'll be happy and realize they may have been owed more, but they would never know. So
that's why I was like, do you retroactively go and help cases?
Yes.
And what's the statute of limitations for that?
It depends on each carrier. So the first thing we do when we get in touch with the homeowner or a lead, we need to read that policy. We need to see what they're going to be bound to and what they need to do, after the loss has occurred. Yeah. Sometimes, every policy, there's a section called duties after the loss.
Ooh.
And you as a homeowner or policyholder have things that you're supposed to do to let them pay for your claim, but they don't really let you know that. So they will pay your claim 99% of the time, even if you don't do those things as a homeowner alone. But it kind of takes away your ability to go after bad faith and other things. Let's say you wanted to go to an attorney, this, that, and the other. It would kind of prohibit you from, certain recourse.
Okay.
If you don't do everything you're supposed to do within your side of the contract. So that's where we come in. We're here to really execute the duties after the loss for the insured. And that typically includes supporting the loss and how much that loss is going to cost.
Yeah.
So if we want to get in there first, have our estimate, inspection reports, all that good stuff, whatever experts we needed to have hired to create, a justification for the loss before we can do anything else.
Yeah.
Or before the claim really gets kicked off and the adjuster, makes a decision. But 90% of the time, the claim's already started before, we get involved, which isn't an issue. It just makes it a little bit harder sometimes, depending on the amount of effort has been taken in the individual claim. Okay. So sometimes, the contractors or the homeowners have been fighting back and forth with the insurance for some time and then get us involved. Okay. And it kind of muddies the water. So, if we can come in, make a concrete argument, we can get to a decision sooner. And if we come to a disagreement all the way to the end, if we have to get it to an attorney, we have everything documented that's happened up to that point, with no fault. So we can be like, okay, this is everything that's happened. We can give that to the attorney and then they can, do what they need to do if it gets to that point. We don't want that to happen though. We want to be able to solve the claim ourselves.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we are here to just support the loss and justify what the insured thinks that they are owed.
Pretty much, if you can think of like how realtors, they have a buyer's realtor and a listing realtor, you're like the insurance company can be for, you have a adjuster that's for the insurance company. But then people who, I don't know how to read these contracts, you almost need your own protection to make sure that you're getting everything because they love a good person. Like, cool, we'll hop right over it. If we only got to pay you the minimum, we'll pay you the minimum.
Yeah, they love that, and typically, we aren't doing, it's making their jobs a little bit harder because they have a directive almost, they have guidelines that they have to go by, but they don't specifically coincide with the policy.
So what is in terms of an adjuster's pay? What are you guys seeing on doing these types of things? And then on top of that, you can answer that first, but the follow-up question is, when somebody didn't have an adjuster like you to come in and, really maximize what they can get, what was like some of your clients' payouts before you got involved versus after now you got involved? What was that looking like?
Well, it all depends on, how hard you hustle. It depends on how much you get paid. We get paid a percentage of the claim. That's up to the adjuster and their company to determine how much they're going to set their fee at. I think in Georgia, the highest you can do is 33.3% of the claim. We don't charge that much. They wouldn't have enough money to get the work done.
Yeah.
If whatever happens after we get the money.
Yeah.
But we try to make sure, we give a fair amount. We charge about 10 to 15%, really 15%. 10% is like if, very extenuating circumstances, but we do value our time. We put a lot of money into each claim before we even see a penny. Sometimes we don't see a penny for, up to 6-8 months at times. We like to close them out in a month or two, but, there's a lot of things that do happen that can, extend the length of the claim. In your second question, talking about, before and afters, that's funny. So we've gotten some, the insurance company will come out at 0 and we'll end up at, hundreds of thousands. And there's sometimes,
quantify hundreds of thousands, like 100K.
Like the 200-300. I mean, it really depends on the loss.
So take me to the top 3.
Okay, no, I don't. We're not gonna get into specifics.
Well, you don't have to give the address, but as far as the change, like we came in and the insurance company cut me $50,000, and then after we finished, we were able to recoup an extra 6 figures.
I'll give one right here. So, I had a homeowner last year's freeze. They just have basically a year to date. They were issued. I came out first. Right when it happened, they had heard about me from another customer of mine, and they wanted to get me involved from the beginning, which was smart. Get out there, they had a very inexperienced adjuster. This guy had been doing it for less than 6, maybe a year max. He comes out there, we document the damage. Water loss happened in the top floor, went down to the basement. There's multiple kitchens involved. We say, oh yeah, all this stuff's damaged, this and that. He didn't take good pictures, so when he took the pictures and sent it to his boss on his report, he couldn't justify the loss. He's like, oh, how am I going to say these floors are damaged when I can't tell if they're damaged because he just took pictures above it like that. There's different ways you can show the damage, putting a flashlight on the ground, this, that, and that to show the buckled floors.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. Luckily, we did. We ended up, already having our estimate together. We submitted it. This was a more difficult carrier that a lot of people are insured with right now. They have stadiums.
We gotta say names.
You ain't gotta name drop that one.
But hey.
But just understanding the process and the method.
Yes. So, they come out, they say their decision. The homeowner's like, whoa, this is egregiously low. This is really, I've already seen the damage. There's no way I can get any of this. And you didn't even cover X, Y, and Z rooms. We come back with the estimate, significantly higher. Ours is like 200 and something thousand. And it's not like it was ridiculous. We went through systematically and showed them each room that was damaged. We had to detach and reset cabinets, which eventually were damaged. Countertops were damaged. The whole kitchen had to be replaced.
Yeah.
Everything had to be replaced.
And it was all due to a picture angle.
So, someone had a pot filler above their stove. This was a nicer home. The pot fillers. All that. So
you pull it out. I've built a few houses.
So the freeze happened. Something failed. Water was running. They were out of town. Water was running for 2 days.
Oh no!
This is their main floor. So let's just say the second out of 3 floors, the upstairs, main floor, basement happened on the main floor. Damaged. I want to say 2 or 3 bedrooms and the main floor directly, where we had to cut out space.
Yeah.
And then there's continuous flooring throughout the whole main floor.
Yeah.
All of the floors had the same hardwood flooring. So we had to get that addressed, measure every single room, closet, crevice, and said, hey, you guys missed all of these rooms that are continuous. And
so it's almost like you need to have somebody that has the eye to be able to go comb through and get the detail. Because that's what it sounds like you have. And the experience that I'm sure it took you, that's what it's about working with someone with 10,000 hours of mastery.
Yes.
Is that you pay them for how quickly they can come in and spot a lot more issues because you've done a lot more deals than maybe somebody who's at year 1.
Exactly. It's all about, being able to support the loss as thoroughly as possible, as early as possible. Because, you get in there behind and let's say the insurance company's already made a decision for 6 months and then you come in, they're going to be like, what do you mean? We already settled this and that. We already came to this agreement. And then they're kind of apprehensive to pay more. Certain companies. A lot of companies, they will listen. You just have to be specific about what you're talking about and being able to, make it easy to digest for them. Because I feel like, I'm not making generalization, but I don't think that they really take as much care when it comes to reviewing information. They kind of just see it. Like I've had one where I sent in an engineer's report to an adjuster for a claim. He said, I was out of town. I couldn't see it. I had somebody consistently calling in saying, hey, what's going on? We sent the supplement in. And once he got in the office, he calls me, says, I'm going to review it. 10 minutes from when he called me and sent an email saying that he's going to review it, he made a decision in 10 minutes. And that's not enough time to thoroughly investigate a claim or,
So it looks like they're just trying to reach a settlement quickly just so they can get you off the books.
Yes. And especially when they're owed a lot of money. This loss is, upwards of $200,000.
What about when they drop you after?
No, see, they have to have a reason to drop you. If you're filing a legitimate claim and you're trying to get, payment for your legitimate claim, you're not breaking any rules.
But what if you just had between the years of 2018 and 2022, you had more than one, and they drop you?
We are not on the underwriting side, but we do ask those questions before we get involved with somebody and let them know the potential of that happening. Typically, from what I see, this isn't fact, or if you have 3 or 4 claims within like 2 or 3 years, yeah, you're probably going to get dropped. You know what I mean? Even if they went through approved or denied, you're a risk.
So should we call you before we make the claim so that you don't have to put an unnecessary claim?
That is exactly, you hit the nail on the head. I didn't even have to say it. You're smart. But
I'm experienced.
Yeah, you already know. Y'all are in real estate. You know what happens. So exactly, I want everyone to be like, yes, we have a fee. Yes, we do cost money. But expertise in professional services costs money. Yep. So we are gonna be a part of your claim and we're gonna get a percentage of it. So if you want to have, proper guidance and the actual ability to, sort through all the madness and see, hey, should I have even filed that claim? Like the claim I was at this morning, which would made me 20 minutes late. Water loss. This lady, there's 2 things that could be causing this loss. And we don't know what it is. The plumber said it's a specific thing. So I'm like, we may not even have a claim because of the thing that you're describing the damages to be caused by.
But if you file a claim.
But before we even file the claim, I want to see your policy and let's see if it's even a smart decision to file. Yes, you have to do the water mitigation and stuff. So we got a water mitigation team over there. We said, hey, look, this is how much it's going to cost for us to do the job anyway. If you do have the ability to self-insure, we can get it done so it's not a health hazard because it's a Category 3 loss, which means it's sewage. There's
levels to this.
Yes,
there's levels to it.
There's
so
Category 1, 2, 3.
There's you're gone, everything's flatlined. It's just look.
Exactly. So this one was it had biological fluids in it and stuff like that. So everything has to go. So you need to do it now. You need to do it regardless. Yeah. So you're going to have to pay out of pocket. You might have to sell some stocks. You might have to do this. You might have to do that. But if you want to make sure you're mitigating your property in doing your duties after the loss, which says mitigate the cause of loss as soon as possible, then contact your insurance company.
Yeah.
But so if you don't do that, then they might be like, oh, you let this happen for too long.
Yeah.
We're going to deny the claim. They always have some kind of reason. And, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. We're all people at the end of the day. That's why you need to have someone else to read the policy to help you make that decision. I have another one in Atlanta. Same thing. Insurance came out, denied her over the phone. They never even sent an adjuster out.
Oh, wow.
They sent some third party out, and the guy said, oh, yeah, no, it's been happening for blah, blah, blah amount of time. He's like, that's not true. The third party didn't know. They don't care. They're not vested in actually doing the investigation. And they reported that to the adjuster on the phone, called her back, sent a denial letter. I went back, I talked to the plumber. He wrote a report on what happened because they never asked for the plumber's report. And we said, oh, no, this is actually a covered loss. We ended up getting her $30,000.
See, that's what I'm talking about, where they say no.
0.
And then they come back.
It's always let's take a look.
Yeah.
And let's see.
And if your company, you're not charging like an upfront fee. No. You're saying, we want to see the policy. And from the policy, we're going to make a decision we can move forward on it. And then if we do get a win, we just want 10 to 15%, right?
Yes. That's just the reality. It's
paid by performance.
And that sounds like a win-win.
Listen, your phone needs to be flooded after this.
Yeah, but this is the thing though. I have to still pick and choose the claims that
you want to take on.
We're going to take because there's some things that sometimes homeowners are a little fishy, or sometimes the loss doesn't seem as it seems, and it's our job to look at it and make a decision on how to move forward.
So there's a criteria to it. You're like, you're not just free ball.
In the beginning, when I first started, I would take anything. When I first started, I was scared.
Yeah.
By myself trying to do this thing. There isn't that many resources. There's a couple of firms, but most of the people are close knit groups. that know how to effectively make money and close claims.
Yeah.
And we choose, who we want to take in and not take in. Yeah.
That's powerful.
So going back to your example earlier, where you said you got the client to 230K, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was their without you? What was they going to be getting at that point?
13,000.
So so they was going to get 13K.
Yeah.
You had no involvement. They called you after the fact. You stepped in. You got them 230K.
Yes.
So I'm not good with math, but let's 15%. Hold on. So if 10% is 23K, and we just add half of that, so your fee was probably like 28,000 for that, and you got them an extra 200.
Yeah. So it seems like a good, trade-off.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, why isn't your phone always constantly flooded?
I already missed.
Oh, that was sarcasm, by the way. That was I wasn't like legitimately saying that was rhetorical. But
it's the unfortunate reality of the world we live in.
They just don't know.
People just don't know, and everyone has to have insurance, and everybody, they work so hard in their respective field to buy their home or their business. They don't have to spend all this extra time to be able to read Polynesian.
Polynesian.
Yeah, but you don't have to be able to read, take a whole nother course to be able to interpret how they're going to, understand how they're going to interpret words. Mm-hmm. That's basically it, because certain words can mean different things in the policy than they do in your everyday, life. So when you see, oh yeah, that seems like it's covered, or you say, oh, you call them and say, yeah, my toilet's leaking. It's going to say in your policy, it's to specifically say leaking is excluded, but that's not what caused the loss. The leaking is a consequential thing of what happened to, the wax seal failing, or, your toilet backing up, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So they're going to use that verbiage that's lame, that the laymen are going to use against them. Mm-hmm. So that's why you have to always look at the policy and read and be like, oh, this is what they actually mean by that. This is what I'm actually claiming. I'm claiming the cause of loss, not the resulting thing that happened because of the loss. But that may be the resulting thing may be covered, but you have to word things properly, or else they can be kind of particular.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because trust you me, part of the roofing damage to where the tree fell, they were trying to count shingles.
Oh, exactly. And I deal with that. That's my bread and butter. I deal with that all the time.
Counting shingles.
So that's where it gets to. And that's where the insurance company, it's come so far from, when I kind of started in just roofing and insurance in general.
I'll speak closer to the mic if you don't mind.
Now there's so many claims being filed, in general, that, they're really
sift through.
They're tightening up.
Yeah.
And it's just the unfortunate reality.
Yeah.
And I get it. But, it still doesn't absolve them from paying valid claims.
Yeah. And that's one of the things. It's like we talk so much about home ownership and buy homes and buy multiple homes and all of that. But you think about the maintaining it. And, you work so hard to afford the mortgage, but can you handle the maintenance of it?
Or someone's going to take advantage of you having a little bit of money and just kind of, overcharging you for work. Because we do, this is a whole nother thing. Like, I do building consulting as well. So, I'll consult for, people who are in your situation. You guys own properties. You guys will be like, hey, I have this project I want to have going on, and I need to find a contractor for it. Instead of you guys trying to find someone you can trust, I can look within my network, or guys that you have picked out, I can vet them.
Yeah.
And be like, ask them certain questions that you may not know to ask, or, see the previous work, or, talk to homeowners that have worked for them, and try to make a good decision for you guys as, homeowners or business owners who are trying to make a decision for your business.
Yeah.
I've seen it plenty of times, some people getting screwed over, or they're paying for work and the guy taking so long to finish this, that, and the other. We try to mitigate that for some of our clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said off the camera earlier, you said that there was a dire need for people to enter this space because the gatekeepers and the current demographic expunge upon what you're seeing in that space.
So I know a bunch of public adjusters who are who live close to me. We have some of the same clients. Some of our clients have too much work. Contractors have too many claims that they're dealing with that, they need multiple public adjusters to help their clients, because like at the end of the day, we work for the homeowners, but we do get referred by people like you guys. Like, let's say you guys deal with people who own properties. You would be like, oh, hey, you hear something happen to them. Oh, one of my properties caught on fire. We're in Atlanta, shot up my house, which I've done those claims before.
Someone actually did shoot up one of my Airbnb.
Oh,
That's a whole nother episode.
But that right there, that's a claim.
Yeah.
That's a vandalism claim.
Mm-hmm.
And I've handled those and gotten people $100,000, in Pittsburgh area.
That's more than the value of the house.
You know what? I might need to talk to you about this. What's the statute of limitation from when it happens versus I can come back and
typically it's like a year.
Yeah, this happened a couple months ago.
A couple months ago.
That's a very valid claim. And that's the thing right there. It's educating people about their losses that they endure.
And even once it's settled, you can still appeal.
Well, settle, it all depends on, what the terminology.
Okay.
So I don't use settle.
Or once they've given the final payout.
Well, it's not final.
Okay.
So they'll have, they'll pay out what they pay out, and then, you can always supplement.
Gotcha.
Mm.
For whatever their policy period is, whatever they say or whatever they allow. Sometimes they allow you to go a little bit further for extenuating circumstances. I've had situations where like the mortgage company will be on the check and the mortgage company will hold the money and try to divvy it out based on how they want to divvy it out. That causes strain on the contractor, the homeowner, and it kind of just screws up the whole process. But that's the reality we live in. So basically, I kind of losing my train of thought, but the whole issue at hand is the insurance companies are putting up, some barriers, and the homeowners kind of have a barrier themselves, which is the lack of education. That coupled together, it unfolds into a multitude of issues. Like I was just saying, I could have went on and on about multiple things that kind of happened because of the guidelines and policies set in place by the insurance that don't reflect on the homeowner's specific policy. Mm. So they'll be, oh, it's an internal guideline. We don't do this. My policy doesn't say anything about listening to your internal guidelines, nor does it specify what you're saying. All it says is it covers X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. So that's where we have to, come to a head. Things are come to a head, and
busy.
And we'll get, more coverage.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about what you actually do, but what is it like being an entrepreneur and your growth and journey of running a business?
That it's long hours. Being alone sometimes. My girlfriend's been there for me this whole time. Now she works with me. She's and that's been a big saving grace. But it's really just putting your head down and doing what you got to do and doing what you don't want to do. And if you don't want to do it, maybe you shouldn't even be doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I kind of tell entrepreneurs. I want to get up in the morning. I want to do this. I don't have to really put an alarm. I wake up in the morning at like 6, 7 and start doing what I have to do. Some people can't do that. Yeah. Or they don't want to. I think everyone can do it, but everyone will not come to terms with what it takes to actually, do what you want to do. I have to answer the phone when I don't want to answer it,
Well, and it's a distinction that I want to point out from what you said, because my mentor is a choose to. She's often taught me choose to. And like you said, not making a choice is a choice. Yes. And thinking that, I just got to do the run of the mill, that is your choice. You chose to do this over that.
Mm-hmm. I'll put in 16-hour days, and that's just what it is in the beginning. I bit off a little more than I could chew in the beginning, which was good because people believed in me. And I just learned to convert that to, results and getting better and better. And now I have a team. I have, 2 or 3 people working for me. And I'm training more. And I want to educate more people, even if you don't want to do the full adjusting. You can get your license and essentially be like, a salesperson. Yeah. Essentially.
Affiliate sales, same, but affiliate.
You have to be licensed to get percentage of profit.
Got you.
So what else? Because you said people have to go through a certain amount of hours and go through some certain criteria, but then once they do get through that, they would have to work under a firm, or
you can do whatever it's up to you.
Like T.I., you can have whatever you like.
But that's there's no like organization that's gonna help you.
Okay.
you can go work for somebody, but it's just like if I made my own commission schedule, and people have this weird false idea of what a business is.
Ooh.
It's a set of rules that are upheld and replicated. And that's how I would kind of see it. It's like, once I have my procedure list, this is how you do it. If you don't do the things how it needs to be, you get fired.
It's a process. That's what somebody said. They were like, do you know McDonald's all across the world right now are being run by teenagers?
Yeah.
And they were like, every McDonald's, imagine teenagers.
They just have rules.
McDonald's.
It's just rules.
SOPs.
Once you... Yeah, standards of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, once I realized that, as I got, as I wanted to bring people on, because I was lost a couple people I was trying to bring on in the beginning because I didn't have SOP, I didn't have standards. So they're like, "What am I getting into?" And I understand that, and that makes sense. And now I'm like, okay, I see what I have to do to take it to the next level, so I can have someone trust me that I'm going to pay them every week.
And that's where a coach helps you to truncate that time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And having somebody that's experienced and that can look at something in 10 minutes. And you're paying them a little bit more to look at it in 10 minutes, but it saves you time.
Exactly. So it's like, it depends what you want. You can go, slow and low, or, fast,
Yeah. That sounds like a t-shirt, slow and low, or fast and...
Something else. I was thinking about something.
Slow and low or high and fly.
Ooh.
Yeah, something like that.
You're welcome.
Slow and low, high and fly.
But that's what I kind of realized, that it's like, until I was relatively, lazy. I dropped out of college because I...
Go to the club.
Yeah, but I dropped out of college, and it wasn't because I wasn't capable. I didn't put in work. It's that simple. There's no one I could have blamed. I was a very capable person. I was smart in high school. I did fine. I didn't.
I know y'all stayed in touch, and he don't just stay in touch with anybody. You talk about standards. He has friend standards, and you are wasting my time.
But for real.
You to be sitting at this table from high school, you done planted some seeds for anybody that come along and they be with you that long. I was like, oh, they worth it, because he does not play.
It's the real. You have to have standards for the people around you.
Yes.
And I have to have standards for myself. I'm working every day to continually be better. But every day I wake up, I keep on seeing the fruits of my growth.
Yeah.
So if I continue to do it and keep my head down, keep doing what I'm supposed to do,
because
sky's the limit. Yeah.
You mentioned it's lonely, but have you found your friend circle shifting?
Yeah, I was talking about the very beginning. The very beginning was more lonely because, most of my friends, everyone says they're going to start a business.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So they're like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, no, I'm actually doing it. I have to go. I can't hang out. I can't do this. Things change. And that is an unfortunate reality. But, and you meet new people who can, when I have my free time, I still kind of keep it work oriented. And it kind of what happens with, as you grow. So some of the people who, when I am spending a little bit of my free time, it is a little bit of work and play. But at the end of the day, we're still getting money.
And that's the thing, because I love to travel. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I learned a long time ago. Wherever I like to travel, I will go explore and do some development. We would do, I sit on the board of a nonprofit. We would go and do a mission. I always made it even more impactful. Cool, if I'm going here for one thing, I'm going to make it a full experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just came back from a vacation too. You was on what, in Bali?
Yeah.
4 months or so?
For a little bit.
Yeah. So
I already know.
So in closing then, just because I want to make sure the people know, in this public adjuster space, what can an average adjuster just starting off, getting their feet wet, what can they see to make on an annual basis?
If you are a go-getter, you're quick to learn, and really, if you're able to be coached, if you're able to learn, you're able to realize you don't know anything, you'll go very far. I've trained. I have a 21-year-old kid. He just got licensed, and he's been doing inspections for ServPro and all these other companies before he got involved with me. And I saw him. I was like, if you can do that, I can actually mold you into being way a whole nother level of thing. And he's bringing in good money. I would say he's looking at probably making 6 figures this year. It's been doing it for 6 months.
Wow.
Last year, I was paying him probably $850 a week, just to you're gonna come with me if you can listen what I'm gonna do. I'll pay $850 a week to just be here, and learn, and then I'm gonna take that away, and then we're gonna do commission or we're gonna work something out. But that $850 a week is going to pale in comparison if you actually are a grinder and you build the relationships that can help bring you claims.
Source deals.
Yeah. If you can source deals, then that's why I tell people, if you can source deals, but you don't know how to close the claims, that's why you join a firm.
Yeah.
So you can actually not get screwed over by the firm and be like, hey, I'm bringing something too. I'm bringing claims in. And then some people say, I just want to stay in that lane.
Yeah.
Where I can just build claims and do the front-facing customer stuff, and then, let the firm in their hive mind close the claims. Because, I have, someone making calls. I have someone making emails. We get on Discord every night and we're like, hey, look, what's going on? If you want to make money, you got to be in the mix. Some people want to make money but not be involved. It's like, that's not how things work, especially when you're in a group thing where everyone has to kind of pull their weight or understand that, hey, if they can't do this, I'll do this.
Yeah.
So in closing, if somebody wants to, after seeing this, hey, I'm inspired, I want to get into the space. Yeah. Is there, because I know you said you're actively looking for people, obviously, to bring on, but it's like, because are you restricted to like areas? Is it just Georgia? Or?
We can get licensed anywhere. Okay. There's a couple of states that don't have public adjuster's license. Like, you just can't be licensed there for whatever reason. But majority of the states that people like live in, you can do it. Like, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. We're expanding to Tennessee, Florida, and Texas this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people who are looking to like, hey, I have an interest, I really want to dive in or, get some more stuff. What are some resources that you can, free resources that you can, well, not free, but just resources you can share?
Me. Okay. You can, regardless if you work with me or not, I always, want to talk to people because there's always going to be enough claims. I'm not worried about competition per se. I'll have some referrals be like, oh, I've been working with so-and-so. I'm like, that's good. I've been really busy. Like, I'm glad you're able to help your customer. Yeah. I'm really glad you're able to, but you can call me whenever. I'm here.
Yeah.
Everyone's always going to be like, oh, everyone's getting overwhelmed.
Is there a form or website they can also look into to get further stuff as well? So
go to accurateadjustmentsga.com. It's ACCURATE adjustments. That's plural, GA.com. That's my website. You can get in contact with us section. You can reach out to me. My number is 404-429-4074. You can give me a call if you want. My whole thing is no one's going to take anything from me. I want everyone to be educated, because there's going to be so many claims in the future when people know about public adjusters. There's going to be more claims available that we don't even know of, that because people have just took it on the chin and decided, I'm just going to pay for whatever because they said no. And Lord knows what percentage of people that is.
Yeah.
That just
hopefully it's a lot. They come back and it's like, we come back for retribution.
No, not even for retribution. It's for what you're owed. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say like, the insurance companies are trying to scam them. No, it's just like the people who are doing the inspections sometimes just don't know. And there's some people who are looking at the stuff that the person inspected, they don't know what they're looking at sometimes, and that's why we have to do what we do, which is support the proof of loss,
So in closing, anything you want to offer to the people in this space looking to get interested, or just anything you want to, just a tip or trick to share?
Go get licensed. Just go get licensed. It's going to cost you $300 in money and like your time, really. I would say like $300, just go get licensed, and then somebody is going to have something happen within that year that you paid for your license. If you can refer them to a good firm, you can work a commission, thing out for you to get paid as a licensed person to help the claim. Just learn how to read a policy and advise them how to make the first steps. I'm not telling you to take it all the way and slam dunk it, but if you can do that, we can talk, that's it.
Awesome.
And people like you guys are some people who should get licensed because you guys know so many people in the space.
That's what I was just thinking about. Especially creating it to connect with and get even more people out
and you're going to have more education to where when you're talking to to people you're doing wholesale deals with or whatever, hey, by the way, in your little closing packet, if you ever do have a claim, which will happen one day, this is who you should probably contact,
So
if it does happen, let me know so I can I'm not here to just sell you the house and run away. If you do have another issue, which will arise eventually, let's be ready to confront that that event. You know,
Yeah.
if we can confront it, then we can convert it to dollars.
So that's just a value add just for real estate investors in general.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and a lot of people don't have time to do it. That's why we're here. You just bring it to us. We just build a symbiotic relationship where between the real estate agents and the adjusters.
Well, we have to obviously get licensed first, per se.
Oh, I'm saying in general, like right now, before you get licensed, people who are, I'm sure you're going to hear of things happen.
Yeah.
Other people who own Airbnbs and stuff like that. Oh, they did this, and that. These are claims. Let's just see how bad the damage is. Let's quantify it, and then let's file it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Lexi,
yes, sir.
We appreciate your time, good sir. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur. It has been an amazing conversation. Be sure to subscribe and like the video below. As always, you got it. Let's get it.
Let's go.